Intel officer Steve Rogers. Captain Nash, if you had the opportunity to take President Obama up on this offer, what would you tell him would be the right strategy?
Okay, first things first, have the confidence and the guts to call the enemy for what it is. It is a virulent ideology that has caused death and destruction since 622 on this planet. And let's just call it for what it is. It's radical Islam. And until you're willing to even mouth those words, anything else you do is going to be half-hearted and probably half-baked because you don't even have the conviction of your own ideas.
Well, Steve Rogers, he's got the conviction of his own ideas, but his own ideas have come from a very leftist place, anti-war, peacenik. We're all in this together, one world. You know, if you start off your presidency bowing to the rest of the world and saying we're all equally, exceptional, then this is the kind of policy that's probably going to follow. But if there was a chance to change the president's mind, how would you try to persuade him?
Well, first of all, Mr. President, I'm going to pop off, and I'm going to meet your challenge. Number one, the political rhetoric coming out of the White House, and in particular, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Martin O'Malley, one, Charles, not identifying these people for what they are. They're enemies. They're radical Islamists. And then Hillary Clinton to suggest that this is not an American fight. Tell that to the victims of, God forbid, there's a bombing in this country. They have to stop this political correctness, stand up for this country. That's how you begin it, through a political component. Your military options, to me, is easy. You go in with overwhelming force. Look, the French, within 24 hours, found their headquarters, found ammunition dumps. We need to go in and bomb the living daylights out of the oil fields, their headquarters, ammunition dumps, and supply lines. And finally, Homeland Defense, Charles. Our homeland. Let police officers do their job. This idea of getting rid of methodologies like stop and frisk, questioning people that you as a cop feel is suspicious, has to stop. That's what I would do.
Captain Nash, President of France Hollande said they're going to be merciless. He also made the point today that they are not interested in containing ISIS. They are at war with ISIS. What will it take, do you think, to get the same sort of reaction here? And because I feel like it's inevitable. I hate to say it, but it feels inevitable that we're going to have to deal with a Paris-like attack at some point.
Well, I believe that as well, Charles. And quite frankly, when you look at it, we have to admit that it's going to take ground troops, and I don't think that it's U.S. ground troops. There don't have to be kids from Iowa to do this. This horrific scene is playing out.
Let me just interrupt 1 second. With all due respect,
Yeah.
we spent trillions, I know at least billions of dollars trying to train these the Middle Easterners. Are they capable of it? I mean, do they have the spirit, the will, and other skill sets needed to complete this task?
They've been fighting among each other for millennia. So yeah, they're quite capable of fighting each other. This is not a group of very highly specialized people with the latest and greatest technology. For the most part, they're operating on stolen or borrowed equipment, driving around pickup trucks, and they have a few armored vehicles, and we're plinking them off as quickly as we can. My point is that I think this is going to come down to that little huddle that the president had with Vladimir Putin off the side of the G20 conference that followed what happened in Vienna between Secretary Kerry and Minister Lavrov, and that is, I believe what is being discussed here is a grand bargain between the Russians and the United States, where the Russians and their Syrian allies, who are quite capable, if left alone, they handle Syria, and the United States and the Iraqis and the Kurds handle Iraq, and we crush ISIS, and then this thing splits into what happens politically to Syria.
Let's hope it happens. Let's hope that's exactly what happens. Gentlemen, we'll have you back later in the show. Neil Ferguson.